not that impressed with real life. Got some words here today. Well, thanks, Vince, for that intro. I'm also just a guy that's been in quite a few years, 26 to be precise. A few gray hairs, and I got my share of successes and failures and mistakes along the way. But they're my stories, and I've loved this journey. I tell you, this has been great. Class, I've loved being your mentor for this past, I thought it was 5 weeks. I guess it's been 6 weeks. Time's flying. But I want to say that to everybody else in the crowd, they have what it takes to lead airmen and teams, especially in light of the fact that we're going to be a lot of uncertain times coming up. In the beginning, we had a lot of talks. And during our talks, I hear their concerns, their valid questions. Am I equipped to lead? Can I do this? A lot of that was on day 2. Lots changed since day 2. We've also had some oddly specific questions like, how do I get airmen to re-enlist? Or what if I care too much? Some of these questions I've had myself, but those are great questions for you guys to have, and you're going to get through this. And just about every rank up that I've been through, I've questioned my own abilities to lead sections as they got bigger and more dynamic with each stripe that I put on. I remember sitting across from Chief Yevchek, a former retired command chief who worked for K-Right, but he was my SEL back in the day, and when I had poor confidence, he encouraged me. Sat me down, encouraged me, telling me that I wouldn't be here as a fresh senior NCO if my past leaders didn't find me ready for this upcoming role. Well, I'm here to be that person for each of you guys as you're about to step into a role as an NCO. Picture the two of us sitting across from each other and sharing time together. What I would tell you is that you have what it takes. I'm going to say it again. You have what it takes. I was thinking about Robin Williams in Good Will Hunting when he's telling the person, Matt Damon's character, saying it's not your fault. That's a really sad example. You know, when you see that movie, it's a sad example, but sometimes we need to hear things more than once, and you honestly have what it takes. Each of you is unique. You have your own story and journey that's gotten you here to today. It's not just me who believes in you, all the people in the back as well. They wouldn't be here for you today if they didn't believe in you as well, whether it be your supervisor or your commander. Pair that with the intentional development that these instructors gave you these last 5 or 6 weeks, dude, you got this. Will you make mistakes? Of course. Learn from it, do your best, don't repeat it. But do give yourself some grace. We had a guest speaker, and it was honestly a good lesson, legit. But he remarked how he made mistakes 3 and 4 times over. If that warrior like that can make mistakes 3 and 4 times over his long storied career, we can give ourselves some grace that we're going to make some mistakes as well. There was something else he said and talked about, but I can't put my finger on what he talked about. I'm sure she'll do some feedback out later. Sure. I just love this holiday season, though. Gratitude's all around. I'm super stoked and thankful that we invited the entire base to this. Fire. Good. But I really wanted to be that guy that got to speak to a record-sized crowd in ALS, I'll tell you that. I'm paying for my past sins. I did. You're going to get your money's worth today. I guess you didn't pay anything, so you're getting your money's worth. So this is great for the graduates. We're a little bit bummed that they didn't get to have an actual graduation ceremony with a dinner. So thank you all for making it special for them. Class 26A. Colonel Musa, thank you. Chief Edwards, thank you for coming. Group commanders at all levels, chiefs, first sergeants. There we go. Disappointing. Supervisors, families, friends, thanks for coming today. Really appreciate it on behalf of the students graduating today. Like I said, I've been in 26 years, and like all of us, we're at least partially a product of our surroundings and our experiences in education. I don't have a singular remarkable story that's defined my entire career, but a series of small stories like you probably do as well. So if you'll permit me, I'm going to use my time to share some of my stories. So picture this. A Chevy Suburban driving through a fierce winter storm with 6 steely-eyed, barrel-chested warriors in full kit, all the cranberries. Wait, this isn't my story. I grabbed the wrong script. Sorry about that. The sled dogs is awesome. Just kidding. That was from a different ceremony. The chief had Shepherd School. Yeah, that's great. Changes. I want to speak about changes though. When it comes to the Air Force, everywhere we look, we're involved in some sort of change. I don't know if all of them you guys see every day. But one that I want to key in on is from when the Air Force switched from the bike test. I know, a long time ago. But I was a senior when that happened, just like most of you in this room. that change from the bike test to the mile-and-a-half run, people everywhere were throwing their arms up and like, I can't believe this is happening to me. Why do we have to do this? I want to ride a cycle and smoke a cigarette and pass this thing. But that's not exactly how it happened. So I made a mental choice not to take that victim stance. It was out of our control. So I thought I would just kind of make that intentional mindset shift, convince myself to like running. No, I like running. She asked me the other day if I like running. I'm like, I do now. But I did. I found little ways to appreciate running along paths, long runs up to like 7 miles, short drops, 1 to 2 miles, signing up for triathlons to get out there and I do some other things besides just the PT test. But I worked and I enjoyed it and I really look forward to running. I've since struggled, 49, with hip, back, knee, feet issues, but I still like running even if it's not very far. The class and I ran 5K the other day. It was great to think that I inspired them, but really you guys inspired me. There's no way it was like quitting with you guys out there putting in the hustle that you guys did. So well done to all of you. You guys put in the work. But here we are again with the Air Force up in the ante on running, now going up to 2 miles. And just like before, people are upset about it. You may not have a strong feeling about running or fitness. Some of you see you. But you may about something else. So I encourage you not to take that victim stance, but make an intentional mindset shift to buy into the change, adopt it, and lead by example. Second story, pay attention to the tension. After PCS in 2 Yokota, I was the guy in charge of a 27-person team, preparing them for multiple C-135 missions, aircrew decon, everything AFE. We had recurring chem exercises every 6 months, so I had to hit the ground running. During the first exercise, I was the WIT inspector and observed an airman just shaking. He was performing weapons clearing duties, and he was shaking all the way down to his hands. You know, the hands that hold a loaded M9. Real bullets. My eyes got wider, and I immediately called knock it off. I stayed the scene, took him aside, used a curious, concerned, kind of like, I'm not going to say parent, approach to ask him what was going on with him. I barely knew him. But he told me that he thought I was going to berate him and ask him a bunch of loaded questions. No one under pressure. But I asked why he thought this, and he said that's what my predecessor did. But since we were dealing with live ammo indoors, I wanted to take the precise and safe approach to this, not under undue stress. It was all reading exercise, chem exercise, and it was stressful enough. He gets it. This was my first telltale sign that I had inherited a scarred shop. So I dug a little bit, uncovered other similar sentiments, and the consequences that I thought it was leading to. It wasn't the culture that I wanted for my team, working under constant fear. I decided to be intentional in how I led them, caring and mindful, and it paid dividends. Many promoted early. We've got a lot of EFTP strats out of there. Most of them extended or applied for indefinite EROS, which I didn't know was a thing, so they could stay there forever. I mean, it wasn't always me, it might have been just February in Japan. But it didn't happen by accident. I paid attention to the tension. And I just want you to know as NCOs that you play a big part in setting culture. All right. Story 3. We're getting there. What topic do you think I'm going to speak about, class? Feedback. Got you. I just got you. All right. So within a month of me arriving at Dodge Air Force Base, as a young match sergeant and career field instructor, I got invited to a one-on-one with the command chief of 7th Bombing, Eddie Webb. My coworkers looked at each other, also senior NCOs, and they wondered what this was about. Well, I was even more concerned that they were concerned since they never had this interview with the command chief before. But I learned that he was new, and he wanted to sit down with every senior NCO that recently arrived to go over their records and find out their career goals. So there I was, sitting in his office with my years of records in front of him. In that meeting, he told me plainly and candidly that I probably wasn't going to make senior. At least without a ton of effort over a lot of years ahead, and even grinding, I might come up short. Talk about tough feedback again. I've only been in 14 years, and this chief is telling me that I hit my ceiling. But boy, was he right. This was 2014, and I didn't get my first draft until 5 years later, and this fancy top strike 2 years after that. So 8 missed attempts, 8 years later, 7 times passed over, but this short, simple 30-minute conversation has stuck with me for the past 11 years, and it pushed me. His conversation braced me for my eventual reality that it would take a lot of effort, a lot of disappointment, and a lot of rejection. It still stung getting passed over year after year, but I wasn't doing what I was doing for the strength. I was doing it for the work that was in front of me, for the airmen and technicians that I was teaching, and the enlisted and officers that I was transforming. After PCS and Dakota, confidence and competence were at an all-time high. Took care of my airmen, showed concern for them. My leadership took notice of what I was doing, and then they fought for me. Sure, I missed senior by half a point, but I wasn't upset. I was right there. I had support, which was really important, and kept riding. Next year, I deployed, flew it out of the water, and then got that stripe that I thought I'd probably never wear. But in our squadron at the time, we had an air traffic control chief who had made rank first time every time but one. She knew my story and couldn't believe that the resiliency that I endured coming up short year after year. She confessed that she didn't think she'd be able to tough it out with these kinds of results. But I had gas in my tank. Not the kind of gas that you put in your car, but the GAS, give a shit. Sorry. Kids are good. But give a shit about your profession, about your mission, about your airmen, your career, your reputation, and your purpose. Keep your gas tank full. And give the tough feedback, and be willing to and able to take it from feedback. Well, the rest of people say, all right, one last story, and we'll be done. This one's not as personal, but after our first encounter on day 2, I sensed some of the fear that you guys have. Maybe you still have, but I'm sure it's less. But it reminded me of another story called Who Moved My Cheese? Anybody's heard of or read Who Moved My Cheese? You? But in this, it's a fable. There's 4 characters that live in a maze. 2 of them are mice, and 2 of them are little people. Little people like I picture the size of mice. There's no picture, so I don't know. But in this maze, cheese mysteriously shows up. They don't know who put it there, when, or why. They just eat it. As the huge pile dwindles down to just mere morsels, the mice, named Scurry and Sniff, tie up their running shoes and head out into the maze to find new cheese. This pile was gone, and they didn't have any reasons to believe there'd be more coming. So they left to hunt for more. The other 2 characters, the little people named Hem and Haw, were not so action-oriented. They waited, they worried, and Hem would shout, seemingly at whoever made the maze, who dropped the cheese, saying, "Where's my cheese? Who took my cheese?" Or who moved my cheese? I don't know what cheese. But while his friend Haw was a little bit resistant to change, but the hero of the story, he adapted. He adapted to the situation, drew on his resiliency, and made several mindset shifts because they got so reliant on cheese and so comfortable and complacent that it wasn't good for them. So he didn't know where his running shoes were, but he found them. He found them, he laced them up, and he was steered still inside of them, he moved out into the unknown. But out there, he gained some new perspective. He discovered how exciting this actually was. That it wasn't as scary as he thought it was in his mind. You see, fear can paralyze people. So I encourage you to move past your fears. Embrace what lies ahead. Face the challenges head on, like he did in FTX. I was really impressed by it, the way you guys out of FTX the other day. You didn't know who was hiding in the woods, if they were ready to front or flank behind you, but you moved with purpose. You followed up observations, you listened to your leaders, and you moved with purpose, like I said. But before you went out on patrol, I could feel your anticipation and excitement, a little tinge of fear, but I thought it was really great. You were amped for it. And now you're heading back out into the operational Air Force, away from the protection of PME, and those same feelings of anticipation and excitement and a little tinge of fear is while still confused. But I ask you to lean into it, face up, and adapt to whatever's coming. So in closing, stories, we all got them. We're living them every day. So just reflect on the stories that matter to you, the ones that drive you to change, to make a mindset shift, or a marker in your life. To the leaders out there, thank you for supporting this class by taking their load these past 5, maybe 6 weeks, and also just for showing up today. For the graduates, when it comes to the specialness of today, you're not going to remember these speeches and these words, but you are going to remember the friends you made, those who showed up for you today in the back, just the specialness of this day. You're going to remember this day. I remember my ALS graduation so many years ago. So stay a break, take some mental pictures of what's going on today, and pay attention to who's here today for you. I believe that we're all made on purpose and for a purpose, so figure it out, embrace who you are, so lace them up, lean in, and lead well. Got this. Love you all.